Hi, I am Mali, and welcome to the channel. From a linear workflow, similar to Automatic 1111, to a node-based workflow similar to Comfy, and with intuitive features like the unified canvas, InvokeAI is an all-in-one UI for Stable Diffusion. In today's tutorial, I will show you how to set it up and explain the entire user interface. First, let me say that this is an independent tutorial, and I am not saying that InvokeAI is better. It has its pros and cons. Whether you should use it or not depends on your workflow. It has some good features, but it's also lacking in some. Depending on how you use Stable Diffusion, you may want to use both Invoke and Automatic 1111. Secondly, take note of the hardware requirements. 6 to 8 GB is recommended for SDXL models. It also required 12 GB of system RAM. To install Invoke, go to this GitHub page. Scroll down to Automatic Installer and go to the latest release page. Over here, download the installer zip file and extract it. Before proceeding with anything else, ensure you have Python 3.10 installed. All the links will be in the description. While installing Python, remember to tick mark Add to Path. Return to your extracted folder and click on this file to enable long path in Windows. After that, click install.bat to open the command prompt. Also, make sure you have Visual C++ libraries installed. After meeting all three requirements, press any key to continue. To select the default location, type Y and press Enter. If you are on an NVIDIA GPU, go with option 1. This takes some time. After it is finished, choose Manual Configuration. Here, keep everything on default. For the RAM setting, reserve about 30 to 50% of your system RAM. Increase the VRAM reserve to 1/3 of the capacity. Accept the license and proceed. You can port models from existing Automatic 1111 folders in Invoke. In Starters, choose only models you don't have. The ControlNet models listed here are non-SDXL only. In T2i adapters, it has only 4 SDXL models. It's missing OpenPose and Midas depth, which I will install manually. For the IP adapters, I will also have to do a manual install for the SDXL Plus and Face models. LoRa's and textual inversion embeddings can be manually installed and downloaded as well. After you click Apply Changes, it will take some time to download and install all the chosen models. Once this process finishes, close this command prompt and go to the installed folder location. Here, click on invoke.bat file to launch the command prompt. Type 1 and enter to start Invoke in a browser. Copy and paste this URL in your browser. For the first time, it starts with the Model Manager page. Go to Import Models. Here, you can only import diffuser and checkpoint models either via URL or your automatic 1111 folder. If you only want specific models, go to Scan for Models and paste in your existing automatic 1111 location. Don't select the root models folder, as you can only import checkpoints. Now select whatever models you want and quick add them. To install LoRa, VAE, or embeddings, go to the Auto Import folder and download the file in the relevant folder. Then, in the Model Manager settings, click on Sync Models. If the model is compatible, it will get added to Invoke. To install a checkpoint from Civit AI, right-click the download link and copy the URL. Then paste it in the Import Models. For diffusers, like the T2i adapter ControlNet model, go to the Hugging Face page. If you see this option we use in diffusers, it means the model is compatible and will work in Invoke. Copy the green text and paste it in Import Models. Now, let's look at the interface. On the very left, you can see the menu options like the text to image, image to image, unified canvas, workflow, model manager, and queue. The main workflow area is divided into 3 columns. The left column is for prompting and settings. The middle column consists of a selected image and some settings. If the image is generated using Invoke, you can use the prompt, seed, or all settings from the image. The right column is your gallery of generated images and assets you may have created or imported in Invoke. You will find the UI settings at the top right. You can add your favorite schedulers. And it will show on the top of the list. Sliders for all options adds a slider next to the input value. This option is pretty useful. Whenever switching between checkpoints, Invoke will reset the height and the width to the default resolution of the selected checkpoint. In the prompt input, you can see a link icon. Keep this enabled. This will concatenate the prompt and style. There is a web page with all the supported styles and prompts. I will show you later on how to use them in Invoke. They work for third-party checkpoints as well, and they work very well. Iterations are how many times you want the prompt to run. If you keep the seed at random, it will completely randomize the seed number. However, if you specify the seed, it will generate the images with 1 increment in the seed value. This icon does the exact same function of syncing models from the Model Manager. Any image generated from Invoke does collect the VAE data. So, if I take that image and put it in 1111, I can see the metadata in PNG info. Invoke has a recall parameter, which is used to get the seed prompt and settings from the image. The VAE data is missing for some reason, and there is no way to get the settings with 1 click. For this video, I had to switch between different checkpoints, and I ended up referring to the metadata too often to check what VAE was used with the selected checkpoint. The precision setting is applied automatically based on your GPU. The 32-bit floating point is selected for newer cards that support it, and 16-bit if you have an older GPU. A free aspect ratio allows you to move the height and width slider independently. If you choose a fixed ratio, it will maintain that ratio irrespective of what you change. Invoke supports ControlNet, IP adapters, and T2I adapters. However, you cannot just download the safe tensor files and get it working. The models have to be diffuser models. For each one of them, you have to download the model either from Hugging Face or from their own website. Typically, you put LoRa in the positive prompt, but there is a separate LoRa setting here. Just click on Add LoRa, and you get a LoRa strength slider. Enabling the CPU noise will generate seeds that will give consistent results across different hardware and OS environments. Disabling it will generate the seed from the GPU. Dynamic prompts will divide your single prompt into many prompts. I will explain how to use this later on in the tutorial. By default, all images are assigned to the uncategorized board. Invoke has excellent gallery management. Let's create a new board called Cars. I can just shift-select the images and drag-drop them into the new board. If you right-click and delete the board, it also gives you the option to delete the images. Let's check out the unified canvas. This is an AI-generated image from the previous video by my colleague. Right-click and send to unified canvas. What I want to do here is make it wide, like 16:9 ratio. By the way, you can drag and hide the left and the right columns. With the 16:9 ratio selected, I will expand the selection to the full height of the image. The compositing settings allow you to fine-tune the InPainting. For this workflow, I won't change anything. I will explain a bit more in the next workflow. The patch match is the best infill method, as per what I tested. The scale before processing is used for more minor details. For such a wide generation, it's better left to none. I am going to leave everything blank except for the negative prompt. Whenever doing OutPainting or InPainting, I prefer more iterations as you can choose and pick the best one. Let's keep it for 5 as of now. Let's hit Invoke, and if you did not notice, I haven't put a seed. So the results are not cherry-picked. This one seems to have blended well. Oh, this one is bad. There are multiple ways you can do this. I just went with the simplest method. You can play around with the mask adjustments to make the generation blend better, but I wanted to show you what you get without changing any settings. You can accept the one you like and keep working on it. Also, you can save the image to your gallery at each step so you don't lose your progress. For this workflow, I will generate an image and correct the face. We'll show you the InPainting settings in detail. After generating the image, you can see an info button at the top. When you click that, you get the recall parameters. I was saying earlier that there is no data for the VAE here. I don't know if it's a bug or a missing setting. Because of the recall parameter, you can click on Use Prompt. And it will only add the prompt to the workflow. It adds all the positive and negative prompts, including the style. Use Seed will only add the seed, and Use All adds everything except VAE. For InPainting, click on the base and select the mask layer. First, I will change the ratio to free and adjust the selection to cover the face area. This way, whenever I generate, only the selected area is generated. Since the selected area is tiny, there won't be any blending issues. Over here, Unmasked will apply the compositing setting to the entire image, and the mask will apply to the mask layer. Mask Edge will apply only to the edge of the masked area. For the face, I would be selecting Mask Edge. For some reason, with this checkpoint, the InPainting was low resolution. So, I will select Manual and change the resolution to 1024. What this will do is generate the selected area in that resolution and then downscale it. We'll stick with the second one. Moving on, let me show you one trick that you can do here, and it's very convenient. Let's choose the Open Pose ControlNet. I can drag and drop the entire image. Or I can resize the selection area and use this area for the ControlNet. And I just got the upper body for the ControlNet. Whenever you do this, click on the icon that says to set the control image dimensions to width and height. Otherwise, it messes up the generation. I will regenerate this image in an anime style. The supported style prompts are on a GitHub page. I will leave the link in the description below. What you want to do here is copy this and put it in the positive before your prompt. The remaining of the prompt copy and paste it in the positive style. You should copy and paste the negative text in the negative prompt. Leave the negative style empty. I find that this works the best for SDXL. You also want to use ControlNet here to maintain consistency. Almost all the given style works, except for something too drastic, like the isometric one, which will obviously not work here. Let me do one more and show you. This one is called a professional 3D model style. I played around with this feature a lot. I turned an interior architecture design into a colored sketch pencil drawing. Really cool. Invoke has an inbuilt upscaling tool. It's located at the top. It gives you multiple options, and it works great. No complaints here. To use the dynamic prompts, it's best if you decide on the image composure first. Let's take this sports car, for example. I can add 3 colors along with day and night. To maintain consistency, you should add ControlNet here. The dynamic prompt shows 6 different prompts. I will get 3 colors for the day and 3 for the night. This is very accurate if you do it this way. The image composure is very consistent. There is a little bleed of the colors, and that's primarily because of the prompt style and checkpoint. Another example where you can use this is to generate the same subject with different fashion outfits. Invoke also has a workflow editor. It is not exactly as powerful as Comfy, but it is something. The problem is the nodes are mainly open sourced and contributed by the community. I did find a lot of nodes here. However, it's not the complete package. I am not showing the entire workflow for the nodes as it is long and requires another video. Another thing to note here is that the Comfy workflows won't work here. The JSON has to be Invoke compatible. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and let me know in the comments if you use Invoke AI for your workflow. Until next time.